Welcome everybody to another DeFi Raiders AMA. My name is Relentless. I'm your host today. Today I get to talk to DePanda from Lexer Markets about their perp dex that they just launched that does a whole lot more than just your standard perps. So, hey, I really appreciate you coming on. I really look forward to this conversation. So, yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to be on your stage. We have been talking for a few moments ago, maybe a month ago. We have been starting discussing, talking about what Lexer is, and then thanks for inviting to this AMA too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and give a quick background?
Yep. Yep. So for Lexer is a next generation perp DEX that builds on Arbitrum. For us, we have a very novel infrastructure and architecture featuring our hybrid liquidity engines, which allow basically any asset tradable on the blockchain, from the crypto asset, the forex asset, or some arbitrary pairs such as some reverse gym index or the NFT perp can be available with our hybrid liquidity engine and our novel architecture.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to diving into quite a bit of that. So first,
Yep.
before we get into the specifics, everything, I think it'd be good to kind of talk about like the current like perps market and kind of derivatives ecosystem and kind of what you see as like the limitations in the current ecosystem, which kind of drove you guys to build Lexer.
Yep. So at the very beginning of the stage, we have been aping, degening, and being a very native power user in the mainnet since 2018 with most of our teammates. And then in mainnet, we have been seeing the 200 grade starting from early last year in the NFT pumped in the congested Ethereum mainnet traffic, and starting from last year, the there's a lot of like layer two solution coming up, like Arbitrum, Optimism, and a lot of layer two roll up solution coming out. The slow scaling solution basically opened up a lot of opportunity for different DeFi use case. So derivative is definitely one of them. But we see, even though we see the market, the on-chain derivative market is so huge, but there's still some unsolved problem. For example, um, there are some existing protocol they can provide the crypto asset very well with the for example like GMX, they have a very well established like GLP structure, which is onboarding different blue chip native assets such as BTC, ETH, and those stablecoin into the GLP pool and then provide those crypto asset. So, but some of the limitation is that they can only provide the asset available on the GLP pool, and definitely on the blockchain, those crypto native just want more asset tradable on the blockchain. They want to trade forex. They want to trade some NFT derivative. They want to trade some commodity or even some arbitrary pairs. For example, like ETH squared and others pairs. So we come up with a synthetic engine which allows the liquidity providers to provide the stablecoin as a LP in our synthetic LP engine. Meanwhile, the synthetic LP engine can serve as a counterparty to provide those synthetic asset tradable on Lexer. So we're trying to solve this problem and then provide a new solution with our hybrid liquidity engine in order to let uh, any asset tradable on Lexer and then align with our vision to perpetual everything on the blockchain.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think it's super cool what you guys are doing to kind of almost, we talk about like liquidity being fragmented across the space, right? But then
Yep.
you could also reference the fact that tradable assets are fragmented across the space, and you guys are
Yep.
bringing, what you're building is able to bring forex, NFTs, synthetics. I mean, you guys got indices and everything that you guys are trying to build all in one place, which is super
Yep.
cool. Um, so, and like you said, you're doing that with your hybrid liquidity engine. So that's what, I would love to talk about that first, right? If you could break down kind
Yep.
of the mechanics of the liquidity engine, how it works, all that.
Yep. So right now with our long-term roadmap, we will have both our crypto engine, which is the multi-asset LP engine, available in Lexer. Meanwhile, having the synthetic LP engine live in our V2 version. So in the multi-asset LP engine, we'll have like multiple isolated pool having different XLP pool to enable both blue chip asset and also some long tail crypto asset available on Lexer. So in our V2, which with our synthetic LP engine, it is a stable. It's like a stablecoin backed LP engine. The users can provide liquidity to our LP engine, and then they can receive the protocol revenue as a reward for them to provide liquidity. And meanwhile, the semantic LP engine can serve as a counterparty to provide different types of asset tradable, different per pairs. For example, a forex pair in our community, the members are just screaming for those they want to short Australian dollars on a blockchain, maybe, or they just want to do some hedging to their position on some commodity stuff. And yeah, so that's with our V1 and V2 engine, we can easily enable any asset tradable, like the real asset, and the liquidity provider can also earn a very promising yield from providing liquidity on our platform.
Yeah, very cool. And it's cool that you mentioned the real world assets, right? A lot of people are talking about that right
Yep.
now. And then kind of, what is your kind of your view on real world assets moving to the blockchain, and like what are going to be the most important assets to be able to trade first? What do you think it's going to take to really get that adoption on chain?
Yep. So actually for Lexer, we have been building for early last year, and then we've been talking, goes to our community, talk to the users of some existing protocol, for example, like DYDX or Games Network and GMX, and talking about their user journey and some interesting story from our user is that he got a lot of asset on the blockchain. Maybe on he got most of their asset in mainnet, and then meanwhile he wants to speculate on the forex market, because last year the forex market definitely have more volatility, and the DGens just want to speculate on those pair. So he explore a lot of like protocols, and he found Lexer, and the pain point is that he got most of his asset on a blockchain. Meanwhile, he wants to do leverage trading on the forex market. But if he wants to create or open an account on an offline brokerage, he needs like more than 5 to 7 days to in the counter. So he just goes to the blockchain and then find Lexer to easily collateral his stablecoin and then open a leverage long, leverage short on those Australian dollar pairs easily. So I do think the forex pair and the forex market will be very huge market and having a very natural demand in this space.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. I'm invested in some forex trading stuff that's not on chain,
Yep.
but it's I've wanted to there's a couple projects that have come out that are starting to be you know offer a good product to be able to do that, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think it's a huge market, like you said. There's a ton of money to be made there, and to bring it on chain is an astronomical opportunity. So completely agree.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so
And
go
yep.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, after you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. You go ahead, sir.
Okay. Oh, I was just gonna say, and then what I think is really cool is you guys being able to incorporate synthetics, right? So, what's kind of the difference between the synthetic liquidity engine and the hybrid liquidity engine?
So the synthetic LP engine, since most of like the forex and the commodity and some arbitrary pairs, so they basically don't have the corresponding native asset on the blockchain. It makes sense. So we don't have USC on the blockchain. We don't have Australian dollar on the blockchain, or we don't have those oil on the blockchain. So in order to provide such market, we need to do it with synthetic LP engine. So in our synthetic LP engine, we are using stablecoin as a counterparty, and then the user, the traders, can just simply collateral their stablecoin and then do leverage position on Lexer. So there's the difference between our multi-asset LP engine, which having those native asset in the XLP, having those BTC, ETH, and the XLP. Yeah, so that's the major difference.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. And then for the pools for the synthetics, right? They're collateralized by stables. How much do they are they? How much do they have to be over collateralized for their positions?
So right now for the collateralization rate, we are doing it with a very safe utilization ratio, and then to provide to in order to protect both LP and then the traders can have a relatively high open interest within the synthetic LP engine. So we're having the utilization rate control in a very safe ratio. Meanwhile, we'll have some rollover fee, a very comprehensive fee structure to protect the liquidity providers. Meanwhile, letting those on-chain derivative traders have a very superb trading experience.
Nice. Yeah. What is that collateralization ratio?
So the collateralization ratio, we are trying to control it at around 30 to 50% of the entire pool. And but for the synthetic LP engine, we're still doing internal testing, and then we'll roll out in V2 version in around Q3. So we're still doing internal testing and then onboarding our users to join the project beta to work with us and then smoothen our entire mechanism.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right, cool. Appreciate the great breakdown there on the liquidity engines and what you guys are doing there. So let's kind of a couple other things that you guys have done is you guys have like kind of a unique Oracle solution, right? That helps
Yep.
basically from my understanding of it, you guys have managed to solve kind of Oracle manipulation and front running, right? Those are the
Yep.
two major issues that I see that you guys have solved there. Do you want to kind of talk about that Oracle solution, how you guys have managed to implement that?
Yep. It will be a pleasure to talk about it. So for our Oracle network, we're using our own solution with multiple working with multiple Oracle providers. So we'll have two layers of Oracle solution. First layer will be aggregating multiple data source from the off-chain data point, and then we'll aggregate it and then flatten it into a very trustworthy and then safe price feed to fetch on the blockchain to serve as a price feed to let those traders can trade easily. So in the second layer, we will incorporate different. We're talking to multiple Oracle providers, and then their Oracle price feed will be served as a keeper price. When the deviation of our aggregated price go too far from the Oracle price feed, the Oracle price, let's say Chainlink price feed, will kick in, and then a safer um, price will be used um, in Lexer in order to protect the traders, LP, and then provide a very safe and trustworthy, meanwhile less price break price oracle network, and it's completely like we built it from scratch and then backtesting for a long time during the date of our paper trading competition S1 in late last year, and then season 2 this year. So that will be the case of our Oracle network. And meanwhile, we're working with multiple Oracle's providers from Chainlink, DIA, Redstone, and Pipe to work with them.
Yeah, awesome. Very extensive, and super impressive work. I think it's important to note is that like you guys are not a fork, right? You guys are completely custom tech. So,
Yep.
which is super impressive to be able to build, all of this stuff, to be able to do synthetics, to be able to do, real world assets, to be able to do indices and all this stuff, and the Oracle solutions and everything that you guys have done with completely custom work, I think is super impressive. As a person myself who can't code anything, uh, outside of I'm good at typing, right? But I can't code,
Yep.
so that kind of work is incredibly impressive to me. So props on
Yeah,
that.
you may join the Lexer bootcamp. We can teach you how to use code in Solidity, or do some API integration with the Lexer smart contract endpoint, and then so that you can trade easily on your end. We,
Oh,
we
I'm gonna have
can we can teach you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that once I get back from Europe and I'm not doing so much things. I'm gonna have to look into that. That's something I am interested in, but it's like way high level for me at the moment. So, but
Yeah.
definitely interesting. So,
Yep.
okay,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, very cool, awesome. Like I said, super impressive that you guys are able to build all this as kind of custom code and and custom tech. So, all right, a couple other questions that I wanted to talk about. Right, is you guys have all your trade and LP positions are minted as ERC 721 NFTs. So I wanted to
Yep.
see,
Yep. Yep.
for anyone who's going to listen to this and for understanding, is what are kind of the benefits of minting all those positions into these types of NFTs?
So the NFT position as a position would be something that we working on for so long. So for those existing protocol, they're doing it in in uh, in coding wise, in solidity wise, we call it in a mapping. Imagine you're putting all those collateral ratio, those array we call it, and instead of doing it in a mapping in an array, we're doing it uh, in a ERC 721, so that the traders, it enable a lot of like composability, that the traders can use the ERC 721, the position, to um, use it as a collateral and then do cost margining, all this stuff. And meanwhile, for those social fi protocol and those social file protocols can those copy trading protocols can easily, like integrating the file manager, can easily use the position to do like cost margining, partially closing, all this stuff. So it is the composability is like enabled by the ERC 721, the NFT as a position mechanism.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And then I kind of, it's not a project specific question, but when I was reading through your stuff, I really kind of wanted to get your opinion on
Yep.
what do you guys think is the state of, right? You said like copy trading, right? People trading, building these indices and stuff like that. What do you think is kind of the state of trading indices on chain right now? Like how much further education do we need, or how much further do we have to go until that's like truly a well-built system?
I see a uptrend in this market. For example, there we saw a lot of like file coming up, like gearbox file protocol, like the gearbox, like sentiment, and also a lot of like asset management protocol available on the blockchain, like Nitrocatal and Vector, and we definitely see uptrend of some copy trading, copy farming strategy protocol like that. So I do think that will be a trend in this space, especially in the in recent DeFi trend.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's not enough people yet that understand fully the capabilities there. But over time, as it evolves and people become more savvy, I think you'll start to see like a major rise in that trend. So I agree.
Yep.
All right, so let's get back a little bit to Lexer itself. Um, One of the things I like to talk about when I talk to to perps, dexes, is kind of how you guys are going to manage liquidations, or how liquidations are going to work on your platform.
Yep. So for liquidation, we're like with our Oracle network, we're constantly like listening to the price. The board is constantly listening to the price feed, and then once the liquidation price, the liquidation price meet the price feed, the liquidator will kick in and then liquidate the position, and then those collateral ratio liquidation fee will be charged and then redistributed to the protocol and those LEX token stakers and the liquidity providers.
Nice. And is there an
That would be
option
great
for
step.
users to manually trigger liquidations?
So we'll list when the users create a position on Lexer, it will already have a liquidation price, like uh, written on the blockchain, and then once the liquidation price hit it, the liquidator will kick in and then liquidate the position. So the
Okay, so it's all just
user
coded in already.
cannot. Yep. It is
Okay.
coded.
Okay, very cool, very cool. All right, you've seen like depending on the different perp dexes, right? You've seen multiple different approaches, where some will be
Yep.
coded, some of them have gone to kind of the zero liquidation models, right? No fear of liquidations, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think that in itself is also kind of an evolving narrative as to how perp dexes choose to approach that. So okay. All right, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kind of move on to a little bit of the more specific stuff. I wanted to chat kind of about the tokenomics on the platform and then your fees. Yeah, if you want to, whichever way you want to attack that, right? If you want to talk tokenomics and fees, in either order that
Yeah,
you
I can
prefer.
I can jump in a little bit on the tokenomic side. Like in order to have very healthy dynamic between the traders, the our community members, which is our holders, and also the liquidity providers, will have like 30% of the protocol revenue redistributed to the token holder and stakers. And then the remaining 7% will go to liquidity providers in order to um, provide a very healthy dynamic between the long-term protocol, long-term community members staking their Lexer governance token onto our platform, and then meanwhile provide a fair incentivize those liquidity providers to provide LP on Lexer.
Yeah, awesome. Makes sense. Makes sense. Then
Yep.
I
and
just
and on top of
go ahead.
and like just on top of that, because like having a very healthy business model, and then like those XLP holders, those liquidity providers can just easily having promising yield, like providing liquidity. And on top of that, we're working with a lot of like Arbitrum ecosystem protocol from those. Some of them are a yielding protocol, some of them are file strategy protocol, and then those promising, like having a very good APY on XLP just enable them to build on top of our XLP, and then like the building a lot of like DeFi Legos on top of our XLP. For example, some delta neutral strategy on top of XLP, or some gamma neutral strategy, or using those fee to integrate, using those fee generated by providing liquidity on XLP to integrate to other real yield protocol.
Man, that was you took my next question. You answered it before I even could. I was going to ask.
Oh,
That's awesome. We're thinking about the same thing. I was going to ask you like how projects will be able to kind of integrate and build on top of you as well. So yeah,
yep.
I mean you already answered that. So
Yep.
awesome.
I can also extend a little
Yeah,
bit on
yeah,
that
go
side.
for it.
So with our yep. So with our like highly composable architecture, what I've just mentioning was the liquidity side, with a very revenue generating uh, 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 liquidity infrastructure that providing very promising and healthy APY, and the protocol can just easily integrate it with it, and then do a lot of like using strategy, or a lot of like integration on top of XLP. But on the other side, we're still having a very uh, novel and comprehensive trading engine. Those DEX aggregator protocols, those copy trading protocols, and some on-chain derivative protocol, like those insurance protocol, those option protocol can just build insurance protected per on top of our trading engine. So on the LP side, we're working with a lot of protocol already, and on trading side, we are still doing a lot of like partnership and then integration with a lot of ecosystem protocol on Arbitrum. So that's why we're trying to we are building on Arbitrum, and then we want to like serve as a super catalyst of Arbitrum to enrich the entire on-chain derivative ecosystem.
Yeah, that is super cool. I mean, this is such, it's so much different, right? When you actually get into the weeds of what you're building than just a typical perp dex, right? Because this is incredibly flexible to what can be built on it, and then what it can be integrated with, which I think is unique.
It's super awesome.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well,
and
yes, it's awesome, but it's unique too, right?
Yep, and it is.
So
Yep, and I do think it is like the beauty of DeFi. Um, Basically, all of our backend smart contract are open sourced, and the protocol can just integrate with each other permissionlessly, and then a lot of new things are coming out in this space every day.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's something that you haven't really seen with the perp dex is the one all-encompassing kind of perp dex, right, where you can come and eventually be able to trade everything you want to trade, but something that is able to integrate with so many different types of protocols as well. Um,
Yeah.
it brings it all into one. It's like its own. It's like you guys have built like an ecosystem around the perp dex. It's
Yep.
there's a million GMX forks, right? Because well, one, GMX is a great product, right? So everyone wanted to fork that, and then you have projects like Level and stuff like that, which are great projects, but nothing this expansive has been built yet. So kudos. It's going to be very cool to see. I know you guys have had some awesome partnerships. I do want to talk about those and kind of how they're integrating and how you're building with them. I just think it's super cool to kind of think about the different options and ways that this can be used.
Yep, and that's the reason why we are building on Arbitrum, like because on Arbitrum we have already have a very comprehensive on-chain derivative ecosystem. But with Lexer and like our with Lexer, we just want to be part of like the as a contributor to the Arbitrum ecosystem, and also facilitate those more integration between those using protocol and using our no-fault and composable architecture to bring up more opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great ecosystem to build in. So,
Yep.
It's cheap, it's fast, and the teams within it are amazing. So, obviously, who can argue about building over there? So,
yep,
awesome,
exactly.
Okay, so with that, let's kind of chat a little bit about some of your partnerships. You guys have a super impressive list. But my question with the partnerships is, how are some of these projects? Are you leveraging some of their tech to like build some of the things that you guys are doing in the future, or are you just like allowing them to build on top of you?
So, for example, for Rodeo and Yama, they will be closely working with our liquidity engine side to work closely with our XLP. Um, Yama will be Yama's YS extended will be potentially looping in our XLP, and meanwhile Rodeo as a yielding protocol, they can easily build more yielding strategy on top of XLP, because we generate yield and then just do some data neutral strategy, also compounding strategy on top of easily on XLP. And on the other side, for Camelot, um, we have been using their liquidity infrastructure for a lot. We have launched our token um, on Camelot, and then the liquidity are seeded to Camelot in after our public sale, and then Camelot will also providing some of their native token rewards to the liquidity provider as well. So for different, I do think for the different types of like protocol integration will have like different situations sometimes, but the beauty is that um, they can easily build on top of us, and then we can also help them uh, to build on top of us, and then some of them we are working with them closely, so that will be the case.
Awesome, awesome, very cool stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. I know you guys have like a super great list of partners right now, and it's kind of exciting to see like the ways and directions that this can go. So I'm super excited to see what you guys integrate later, as you launch your V2, and especially as you start to get kind of the attention that I imagine you'll get. Um, so yeah, I always like to it's exciting for me to watch the evolution of DeFi, and but it's really exciting for me to watch the evolution of like what I consider innovative projects that are kind of
Yep.
changing and and doing different things. So I think it's going to be super cool to watch. So all right, well, another thing that audience is always super interested in is what you guys are doing for security. So,
Yep.
what kind of audits are you doing? What's kind of your focus there?
Yep. So safety is always our top priority regarding to entire product development, and then for regarding to the audit, we have sent it most of our core mechanism of our smart contract to Hacken, and then we're doing some final auditing um, with that. So we will like due to recent a lot of like exploit maybe on CK Sync or on some of the chain. I do think those users, those crypto users, those on-chain crypto native are just a little bit like skeptical on the security side. So we're trying to like ensure a very safe first launch on Lexer, and then we're trying to do some educational thread to explain our smart contract logic as well, in order to let those users have like a like a grasp on how this logic works, how um, this our audit goes.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, looking forward to the one thing that's helped me kind of develop like a little bit of knowledge base,
Yep.
not about being able to code, but about understanding code is reading through the audits. So I'm excited to see
Yep.
that
Yep.
get
Yep.
published. So, all right, very cool, very cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit kind of about your roadmap and what you guys got coming. First, congrats on the public sale. I mean, you guys sold out in 15
Yep. Yep.
minutes. 500 ETH hard cap in 15 minutes is
Yep.
really impressive. So congrats on that. But a couple things that you guys
Yep.
have coming down the pipeline, right? The Genesis XLP program. Do you want to kind of break down what that
Yep.
is?
Yeah, I was just about to say, don't tell my girlfriend that I do it in like 15 minutes. Do it.
My wife wishes.
Yeah, we wish. Okay, okay, sir. But talking about some business side, like for Genesis XLP side, we're working with multiple like DAOs and protocol like built on top of Lexer. and then we facilitating organizing the Genesis XLP program in like coming weeks, and then more announcement will be coming out with our DAO partners, our protocol partners, and regarding to the Genesis XLP program. And on the other side, we'll also launch our OG referral program, which is like a buy invite program. So the we can onboard the community members and those active on-chain derivative traders to join our program as well.
Nice. Yeah. What do you have any details that you can share kind of about the referral? Like what kind of rewards users are going to be able to earn for referrals?
Yep. So for referral, the referrer can the OG referrers can get those extra rebate from each trade, and then they can earn uh, with a very promising rebate from the referral program. And more details will be like announced in coming days, and yep, you will see. I will definitely reserve a slot for you, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd be happy to help spread the word.
Yep. That would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, all right. Well, I think honestly, outside of anything you think I missed that you want to talk about, I think I kind of covered the majority of the questions that I had that I was interested in. But
Yep.
what did I miss?
Yep. To chime in a little bit, like on the yielding side and the composability side, I do think like during last year and this year, um, the crypto native are more uh, thinking more about like the business, having a business model on the blockchain. So that's why they are talking a lot about the real yield stuff, which are having a real cash flow model, business model on the blockchain, and they are trying to they know that having a very stable yield, having a real business model is important in this field. So that's why Lexer is building a real yield protocol, having the real business model, the cash flow model on the blockchain, and yeah, I do think in recent month or starting from last year, people starting to uh, recognize that having a stable um, 10 to 15% APY is a good thing. They used to want a very super high APY, the 10K the 10,000% APY, and there's those retail starting to explore some stable and then real yield in recent months. So I do think for Lexer, we're very bullish on that, and then that's why we keep um, growing so fast in last year and then also this year, and yeah, I do think we see a lot of like opportunities and bright futures for in this field.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I think there are a lot of positive things coming. Um, we may
Yep.
have some. I do have to admit, I think we're going to have some tough times coming up soon, right? If you're really paying, well, at least in the U.S., for sure in the U.S. If you're paying attention to kind of the macroeconomics, we might lose a little bit of attention and a good amount of TVL with a major recession. Um, but I think that'll be short lived, relatively
Yep.
speaking. And I think long term that there are some huge things, on the horizon for this space. So,
Yep. I agree that, and in crypto we've the darkest moment. I would say it already gone. Like late last year, those Rake, those Saga had just gone, and then yep, it's much better for a crypto native and those protocol builders this year, I would say.
Yep. Yep. Totally agree.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited for the future. I'm nervous for the future, but I think we're all gonna be really happy a few years from now overall. So
Yep.
I mean,
Totally agree that.
you can't. It's hard to argue that how early we really are. I know some people don't think that's true, but most of the times when I have a conversation and I tell anyone I'm in crypto, they're like, "Oh, you mean like NFTs, right?" And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about, but that's okay. So it just kind of shows. It just goes to show you how limited in scope this space is currently, but how quickly it's growing. So it's gonna be exciting to be a part of.
Yep. Totally agree. And we're still early. The market is still early, and the industry is still early. We're like having the same. We have the total market cap of the cryptocurrency is just like 1 point something trillion, just like another Apple. But what we're working is definitely something bigger. So we definitely see a huge opportunity and then a bright future in this field.
Yep.
So that's why Whiteside is building and Lexer is building in this field.
Yep. I think it's the right approach. I agree.
And you guys are building.
Yeah, 100% agree. All right.
Yep.
Well, I think Panda, that kind of covers everything that I had. I'm really appreciative of you coming on here. I just want to give you this opportunity. The floor is yours to kind of put out whatever final message you want to put out about Lexer.
Yep. We will have more campaigns coming up in coming weeks, and then yeah, I do think we'll have a very bullish launch of those Genesis XLP pool and referral programs. So stay tuned for more announcement, and then yeah.
All right. Looking forward to it. I really appreciate your time, Panda. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to be on the stage with you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
sir.
look forward to getting you guys back on here when everything's up and fully running and V2 and everything comes out.
Yep, it will be our pleasure to yeah. It will be great if we can like come to the stage often with other Arbitrum ecosystem protocol with some of our partners as well.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and I have we'll talk offline. I got some other things that we're doing that I think would be great to have you guys, come in with your experience and your expertise and chat about that as well. So
yeah, sure. Please share more alpha in the DM.
Absolutely, never stops.
Never stop.
All right, Panda. Thanks so much. Have a great night.
Yep. Ciao. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in again.
See you guys.
Really appreciate your time and support. If you're hearing this now on YouTube for the first time, please hit that like and subscribe button to help us expand our reach. Once again, I'm Relentless from DeFi Raiders. We'll see you next time.